Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 90. I'm joined with Connor Carsons. How we doing?
Yes, sir. Back on the grind.
Back on the sticks with it.
Mm-hmm. Just me and you today.
Oh, God, it is just me and you.
Wait, it's not really just me and you ever. Unless we're doing like a WWE type thing.
I think our first episode ever was just me and you.
Probably.
I think it was just me and you.
Usually we got at least another third, but ain't no one else want it. Everybody fake.
Everybody busy.
I'm saying.
Busy. I ain't gonna say fake yet. Everybody busy.
They got other things going on.
Oh, God, I understand it. But gotta kind of finish what we started last episode with expectations for every NBA team, going to the Eastern Conference this time, talking about their expectations for this upcoming season and the X factors on every team. We're going to start out with the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Expectations, championship. And then X factor is Jaylen Brown, I guess. Just because if he doesn't produce in the playoffs, we lose. I'm not even talking about regular season. We're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just everything for the... It's either him or, like, I don't even know, Brogdon or Derek White. I think Derek White's a pretty good X factor as well. Now that he's going to be actually starting for a full season, that'll be fun. But Jaylen Brown, he's going to be the talk of probably every game, considering he just got paid and what he can do. A lot of people say that they can't win a championship because him and JT play exactly the same.
Yeah, I've also seen stuff about it, but I think the X factor is Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay.
I think he is bringing something so different because obviously the floor spacing, and he's also 7'2", 7'3", so he can protect the rim. And his main thing of being an X factor is not really his play. I kind of know what I'm going to get from Kristaps at this point in his career, but it's more so his health. If he stays healthy, then you're probably more so bringing Al Horford off the bench, I would think. But I will say, like when I was making this list, the Jason Tatum rebounds prop is dead now. As long as Kristaps Porzingis plays, the Jason Tatum rebound prop is dead now. But I think it's definitely Kristaps. I understand the Jaylen Brown, but I think Kristaps being the Kristaps we know and being healthy, being able to protect the rim and space the floor, give you 15 to 20 a game with about 8-9 rebounds a game. I think that's going to make it so much easier on Jaylen Brown.
Decent defense.
Yes, like especially because it's to the point where, like, do you put him at the 4, Rob Will at the 5, or do you run Kristaps? They're obviously going to have lines where Kristaps is the 5.
I think we're still going to have... I think we're going to end up starting Al still. I think they're going to keep him. I think we're going to run Kristaps at the 5 probably, and Rob will come off the bench. It does suck that we lose Grant Williams because we don't really have a backup 4 to kind of put in there. We don't have Gallinari either anymore.
No.
So I can't really think... I'm trying to think of, like, our bench. There's nobody else really that can come in.
Payne Pritchard going to be getting sick this year.
Probably.
But
him.
He out.
Yeah. He's wanted out for, like, the past 2 years. It'll be him. I think just because I've seen Robert Williams come off the bench before, I think he won't have a problem doing it again. Like, kind of being the spark to come off the bench. Like, when you put in the rotation with Brogdon and him and, like, Robert, I mean, it is what it is. I think, should Al start? No. But that's what's going to happen. They're going to have him start. He'll start at the 4.
It's because it's the same thing with Robert Williams, like, his health problems as well. Because he's been in and out of the lineup for the past, like, 2 years, it's felt like. But it's more so, like, the spacing on the court, like, because I was
that's why Rob's going to come off the bench.
Like, you're dead ass running 5 out and letting Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum go to work.
You got 5 players on the court that can kill you from 3.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. Your big guys won't kill you from 3, but they can hit it at a consistent clip. And Al Horford's been doing it for a minute. And I think they're going to end up putting Porzingis going to be in the corner, kind of like hanging out for a little bit. And if he can get that corner 3 down, fuck.
Yeah,
he might never miss.
Tatum and Brown really
Tatum
draw
and
all the attention.
Derek White's going to be taking the ones from probably dead center because he's the point guard. And then you'll get the wings are going to be by fucking either JT or JB. So one of them, even JB's 3-pointer wasn't really good in the playoffs. So I hope he kind of works on that. So, yeah.
I think there isn't really anything this team's lacking. I think this might be the most talented roster. Yes, you did lose some depth.
Maybe bench depth.
Yeah,
maybe.
But, like, at that point in the playoffs, you guys were only playing, like, Grant Williams wasn't even really getting too much this year.
We ran a 6-man lineup. Yeah. That was it. Like 6 or 7 maybe. But yeah, I mean, you get in the playoffs, it's going to be our starting 5, Rob Will and Brogdon. There's you got a big guy coming off and you got a small guy coming in. Yeah. Like, that's just what it's going to be because we can run the, like, even if Porzingis gets tired, you just run Rob Will and Al Horford together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Al Horford, you're tired. All right, Rob Will and Porzingis are in there together now. And then because when Porzingis and Rob Will are together, that's really what's going to open up Porzingis because Rob Will's not a threat from three, obviously. So we're going to keep him in the paint. And I think they're going to end up having to play. I think teams are going to play a lot of zone against us. I think they're going to have to because I don't think anybody, the screens and shit, we're going to be setting the switching. Defense is going to be good. I don't know if there's any chance for us to win, it's this year.
I will say, like, another side X factor is Jason Tatum's playmaking.
Oh yeah,
Because without Marcus Smart, who was that lead playmaking guard, I know Malcolm Brogdon coming off your bench is a solid enough playmaker and everything else like that. But Jason Tatum's gonna have the ball in his hands / Jaylen Brown the entire time. But if Jason Tatum can still look to get his and get everybody else involved, I think that's where he takes the next step in his game, rather than, oh yeah, we have another playmaker. Because the whole thing with Boston the past couple of years is, oh, we don't have an actual playmaker. We have
an actual point guard.
Yeah, no actual point guard. But I think I've always thought Marcus Smart was good enough for that team because of how ball dominant your two stars are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if Jason Tatum can elevate his playmaking ability, I think it's going to definitely help open up the entire offense, not just for himself, but for everybody, and make it so much easier on everybody.
Yeah. I think I'm going to change my X factor to Derek White.
Derek White.
Derek White's going to be my X factor.
Next, 76ers. My expectations for this team,
Second round.
I said just playoffs because who knows how long the James Harden stuff is going to last.
Uh-huh.
And I think as long as the James Harden stuff holds this team handicapped, they're not a serious championship threat coming out of the East. And
yeah, I'd agree. I'd go just playoffs.
Yeah.
Just playoffs in general.
Because at this point, without James Harden, at this point you're trading James Harden from scraps, it looks like. But without him, whoever you trade for him, I do still like their roster. But now they're in the tier, not with Boston, not with Milwaukee, but in the tier more so with the Knicks, I feel like, and the Cavs. Because, yes, good team, they have star power and everything else, and Joel Embiid reigning MVP, but, there's only so far they can go. And we've seen Joel Embiid come up short in the playoffs before, so I think their expectation for playoffs is good, and I think the X factor is really James Harden.
Yeah.
And what they get out of him and what he decides to do, or if they trade him or not. But I also think Tyrese Maxey.
I was going to say Maxey as well.
If they don't have Harden, they're going to definitely need a big-time leap from Maxey if they still want to have championship aspirations.
It's so tough because, I don't know, 76ers are going to be... When they lose Harden, they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be pretty bad. I'm thinking 6 seed, 7 seed. They're going to take a big old drop. You can have Embiid drop whatever he wants for him to win MVP again, but when you got no help, especially because Maxey's going to be your only threat at that point, that can actually score consistently, I'm not worried at all. You think I'm worried about this year 12 leap from Tobias Harris? No, I'm not. I don't even know who is there to.
D'Anthony Melton.
Or is he starting now?
It would probably be Melton, Maxey.
Oh, Pat Bev.
Or it's probably Melton still.
Yeah.
And then you got probably Tobias at your 3, PJ at your 4. I've also heard PJ Tucker's on James Harden's side of things.
Oh.
So that could be because they were talking about trading them together to the Clippers when that whole thing was going on. And then you have Joel at your 5. But at this point in time, it's probably him at PJ at your 4 and then Joel at your 5.
Yeah, it just... I don't know. My X factor is also Tyrese Maxey because I think he can. When James Harden leaves, I think he is going to take the jump. I think he's already shown that he can be a 20 to 22 point scorer consistently, and now he's going to basically be the starting point guard again. So I don't know. I think he'll be able to average at least 10 and 7 assists or something like that. They're probably all going to go to Embiid.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just so tough for them to lose someone like James Harden off of these kind of circumstances. But because now, how does it look? James Harden saying all this stuff about your owner. How does that make your team look to other people coming in?
Yeah.
What other things is he going to promise people that he's not going to do? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think it's super weird. Them to make the playoffs, they will, but it's not going to be pretty. But in Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm. Next team is the Hawks. Expectations. I had playoffs. I think they need to get. I'm not saying they gotta get to the conference finals. I'm not saying that would be a successful season for them, but getting comfortably into the playoffs. Like being a 5 seed, comfortably 4 seed, because they have the talent to do it. And the X factor is DeJounte Murray.
I was gonna say DeJounte Murray or Hunter.
Okay.
I was gonna say him or DeJounte Murray, or DeAndre Hunter, because I know what I'm gonna get from Trey and Murray. I'm gonna get basically 20 points and a couple assists here and there. But if you can have that third guy that's gonna jump on it, and then they still have Clint Capella.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who's gonna start at their 4. Would he start at their 4 though?
Nah, I think they probably give the 4 spot to. You could do Sadiq Bey, or
do you start Hunter at 4?
I would start Hunter at the 4, and I'm starting Sadiq Bey at my 3.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
They do have Jalen Johnson, who's young, but I don't know if they want to start him at the 4 yet. But
if DeAndre Hunter can average a solid 17, something like that, around them lines.
Efficient 17.
Efficient, he's shooting efficiently, doing a play, and he's decently good at defense. He's no slouch on defense. So I think that he'd be a nice little 3 to help them a lot. Because Trey is just gonna go get you 30. DeJounte is gonna go get you 30 if he wants. I don't know. I think he'll be a big part of that offense.
Yeah, he should be. He should take this next jump. But I'm saying DeJounte more so. I think the Hawks need that DeJounte from the Spurs, that triple-double threat every night kind of DeJounte, lockdown defender kind of DeJounte. And they had the coaching switch middle of the season, first season, full season with him and Trae Young, so there's going to be working out some kinks and everything else. And then they finally do move John Collins, but I think they just need a very good season out of DeJounte Murray if they want to be comfortably in the playoffs, especially because they're going to really need that 1-2 punch. That backcourt, and I think they will. I think Quinn Snyder's going to do great things with this team this season. But expectation, they're a sneaky, dangerous team depending on what kind of moves they make at the deadline and everything else like that. But still, expectation should be playoffs for them. Next team is the Bucks.
Championship. Fuck. I don't even know. They're good. Everybody on their team is just good, and there's no I don't think they have an X factor. I guess Brook Lopez, maybe, just to see if he can keep it up.
My obviously championship X factor.
Or Chris Middleton.
I have Chris Middleton because Chris Middleton, he's really been the closer on this team. When you look at the Bucks in late game situations, it's not really Giannis killing you late game. It's been Chris Middleton, and during the stretch where they went and won the chip, Chris Middleton was taking all the big-time shots late in games, which he should. He's the closer on that team.
Michael Jordan.
And then when you're looking at him coming off the injury, he didn't really look himself last year, especially when he came back off the injury, which makes sense. But he's really the X factor, and this is another team that I'll talk about later on when we get to teams that have the most pressure on them this season. But because they do have to respond for losing to the Heat. And Chris Middleton being the X factor because he, I think, is the glue guy for this team. Because without him, they don't really have any other perimeter scoring consistently like that other than Jrue Holiday and Giannis. But he's the glue because they don't really have anybody younger or anybody else on that team that's really creating consistently from the perimeter. And they need that because you could definitely see at times lacking in their offense last year without Chris Middleton. And before when they even got him against the Heat, they were still struggling. But yeah, they're still going to be the Bucks. They're still going to be a top 3 team.
I think the Bucks are probably going to. It's either us or them. Us or them's going to win the conference. I think that Giannis is probably sneaky MVP this year.
Has the voters' fatigue died for him?
I think so. It's been 2 or 3 years now, so I think he could come out and win MVP. I just think he's going to be on a vengeance. When they get into the playoffs, bro, I think the Bucks are going to play no games. They're not doing this again. Are they going to end up playing a Miami Heat again? They really could.
They could.
They really could. Will they? Probably not, but they could.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be funny. I don't know. I'm just big on Giannis this year. I think the Bucks just went out sorry, and they just don't want to obviously do that again.
They got to respond.
You got to respond. You got to do something. No, that's all I got for the Bucks at least.
Next team is the Magic. Expectations I have
play-in /
playoffs. I think the Magic have one of the better rosters out east, and I think their X factor is Banchero. They go as far as he's going to take them, in my opinion. And I think they do have a good collection of talent. They still have the logjam at the guard spot that they kind of need to figure out. I do see them, in a way, shipping off one of the guards at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on who's playing better than this guy and everything else. But I think the only safe guard on that team is Markel Fultz for sure. And then playoff expectations, I do like the talent on this team. They do need to jump from Franz Wagner to really be that 2 next to Banchero. I love Wendell Carter on this team. I think he fits and complements Paolo and Wagner pretty good. And then what are you going to get from your rookie Anthony Black that you just drafted? And if you can get a full healthy season out of Markel Fultz, because when Markel Fultz has been healthy on this team, they've been actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they should have expectations of the play-in or playoffs. When you have 2 guys and Paolo and Franz that can go get you 20, Paolo's looking to take that jump. I think he's one of the most untalked about rookies like in recent memory. I think I said this on a couple episodes ago. I've never seen a rookie come out here, average 20 a game, kill in his first 6 months of the season. Started off hit towards the back half of the season, didn't really kind of hit that wall a little bit because teams were starting to figure him out a little bit in his rookie year, but that usually happens. But one of the most under talked about rookies I've ever seen, that has really killed and dominated the start of the season. And he had Rookie of the Year wrapped up within the first 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think everybody knew he was going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Because he had, who else was in with him?
It was Benedict Mathurin for a second.
And then Walker Kessler.
J-Dub was in there for a second.
He would have been unanimous if the one dude didn't vote for Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know what the hell he's doing. But yeah, I think the X Factor is probably Franz. I think if Franz can keep it going, he can be a top 10 3 in the league if he keeps it going. Because he can bring everything. He's super versatile. He can shoot threes. He can play defense. He can rebound and everything. I was taking a lot of his props last season. Point props, a little sus.
Yeah,
but
it's at
just because everybody, that whole starting offense, kind of everybody eats. Mm-hmm. It's basically everybody will have over double-digit points.
It's really the hot hand. That's what they go for.
It would be he would have 16, Paolo 18, Wendell Carter 22.
And then Jalen Suggs will have 13 or 10.
And then they lose.
Yeah.
But I think he is a super good X Factor. I hope he can. I want him to be really good in the league for a long time. So I know his brother's on the roster too. He's not going to play, but he's there. But Franz, I'm super big on Franz. I hope he can keep it up.
Next team is Cleveland. My expectations
is
deep playoff.
Deep, run. Yeah. I was gonna say second round, and then I'm thinking Evan Mobley.
I also have Evan Mobley.
Just so he can, because he can bring it all. I mean, they talked about trading Jarrett Allen, and they haven't done it yet, but they probably won't. But if they did trade Jarrett Allen, you just run Evan Mobley at the 5.
And I think that's where he
thrives.
That's where he would be best at, being a versatile 5 that can do a little bit of everything. Because I think it's just. I have him as an X Factor because I do expect him to take another leap. Just because he's still super young. He's already such a great defender as is, but once his body matures more, I think he'll be even better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just moving him to being such a versatile 5 is going to open up the offense more so because they don't really have... Because Jared Allen's not stretching the floor for you. Even at this point in Evan Mobley's career, he's not really stretching the floor like that consistently. But
he could be a threat maybe from 3.
I haven't seen it consistently yet.
No, me either. And you're not going to get that from Jared Allen, obviously. But
I think if they were to move Jared Allen and go get maybe a versatile 4, a 3-and-D 4.
Well, they just signed what's his face?
Max Strus.
Yeah.
But he's more of a guard. Max Strus is only 6'5".
What do you think their starting lineup's going to be though?
I think they go Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, Allen.
Strus at the 3?
I think you gotta go Strus at the 3. You are in your front court.
How tall is he?
6'5".
Fuck.
But here's the thing. I'm looking at more so they have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in that front court. Yes, they're lacking defensively in their back court because Garland, Mitchell, and Strus aren't really the best defenders in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're all those are kind of your point of attack defenders because you don't really have anybody else besides Isaac Okoro. And I think Isaac Okoro does go to the bench because they need the spacing because Jared Allen and Evan Mobley aren't really spacing the court for them. I think that's why they had such big offensive struggles against the Knicks last year in the playoffs. Obviously because the Knicks are a great defensive team and they're well coached, but also because there was no real lanes to get to the basket for Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. And I think that really hindered them going on a deep playoff run. But if they have Evan Mobley take the jump and be more consistent and be more kind of like able to stretch the floor. I'm not saying he got to come out here and like he got to shoot 6 threes a game because he shouldn't be doing that anyways. There's a lot of guys in the league that shoot way too many threes. But if he can take that kind of next jump and they can really get consistent shooting out of Max Strus, if they can get Isaac Okoro to shoot the 3 ball consistently, like those 2 guys are going to be huge because those guys are going to be really their interchanging 3, and they still got Karis LeVert, they extended him. So if they can kind of get just better shooting output, and I do think they will move Jared Allen at the deadline depending on how their season's looking. And if they could, like, here's the only thing where, like, if they had, like, the only time I'm going to say, like, Tobias Harris. Like, if they had Tobias Harris at the 4.
Yeah, that would help them.
That would help them. It might hurt them defensively, but I think offensively they'd be so much better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Next team, Miami Heat.
Maybe, so, deep, fuck. It's a weird one. Like, second round. Playoffs.
I said championship.
They're not going to win the championship.
That's the Miami Heat expectation.
Yeah, it should be.
They've been to
the Eastern Conference Finals the past, like, 4 years or something? Or 3 out of 4 or something?
3 out of 4 they've been there because they lost the post-bubble year. So they've been to the finals 2 out of the last 4, Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4. And they've played Boston in
3 of them.
3 of them.
Because we played them in the bubble, then we played them this year, then we played them last year.
Yeah. So they just find a way to get it done.
I hate it.
I don't, like... I remember when we did with our playoff predictions and we were talking about like the play-in and our expectations and like who we had winning. I did not have the Heat. I don't think any of us had the Heat winning.
It just doesn't make any sense.
They just find a way in the playoffs, and it didn't help that like, for like, because you're a Boston Celtics fan, so like from your point of view, like Caleb Martin just absolutely going crazy.
Just
like
doing
for
the
Bucks
thing.
fans, you have Caleb Martin going crazy. Max Strus is going crazy. You got Doug Robinson out here playing again now. He's going crazy. It seems like they went on stretches where, obviously, I'm not going to say it was a fluke because you beat the best teams in your conference to go to the chip, and then they obviously got beat by the Nuggets, but, like, when you're looking at, like, it's not a fluke. I don't think anything in, like, the NBA terms is a fluke because it's a 7-game series. The best team, the better team for those 7 games is going to win, and, like, the best team during that time period. But, like, they just went on a crazy run, but like this isn't like anything we haven't seen from the Heat before. Like they did it in the bubble, like they did it last year when they went and lost to you guys in the conference finals. Like they've gone on runs before, so I think championship should be their expectation. And X Factor's Tyler Hero. I was
gonna say Tyler Hero as well.
I think where you're losing Gabe Vincent, they are losing Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, still got Caleb Martin. Their team, I think, should go try to snag Kelly Oubre. I know they're in the Damian Lillard race right now, but Kelly Oubre and Christian Wood, even on this Heat team that struggled offensively, I feel like at times, I think you add Kelly Oubre as a great 3-and-D option for you, and you add Christian Wood, even though Christian Wood would be better next to Bam at your 4, being an offensive-minded 4. And I think they could. I think those are 2 guys they should easily go. Obviously I don't know them, like how like. Why they aren't signed with the team and everything else like that, because those are the 2 main like guys that like
the main free agents
left that haven't been signed to a team that like aren't like the Dwight Howards, the DeMarcus Cousins, like people who were just in the league. Kelly Oubre had a great year last year. Like Christian Wood obviously didn't have the best year, but Christian Wood's still valuable to so many.
He's still a good
teams.
Player to like have on a good roster. Yeah, to make like a deep playoff run or something.
And then I just think when you're losing all those guys, you're expecting the jump from Tyler Hero because Tyler Hero was hurt. Pretty much all last playoffs. He got hurt in like game 2 or game 3 in Milwaukee, and they still went on the run without their 3rd best player, and sometimes arguably their 2nd in my opinion. So they're definitely championship expectations. I don't know if their roster is going to hold up because I do think losing Strus and Vincent's huge.
Yeah, I agree.
Next team, Pistons.
Playoffs. Play in.
I said play-in.
Play-in.
I think they got enough time to make the play-in.
I think Jaden Ivey's probably their X factor, just to see how he can do. I think because he could easily ascend to being their like number 1 scorer on that team. I know they have Cade and everything, but I mean, if you run in the 2, you got a guy who can run around. He can do everything. He can attack the basket super well. He can rebound and he can shoot the 3 pretty good. I mean, I think him and Cade are going to play pretty well next to each other. And then you got Sir Thompson or one of the Thompsons in there. And then
you got
Stewart,
Duran, Wiseman.
Bag God.
Still got Bogdanovich.
They got a deep team.
They do have a deep team. My X factor for them is James Wiseman.
Okay.
Just because how cheap you got him for, and looking at like what he can bring to them, like because it could be a situation where they found a diamond in the rough, and now James Wiseman, now he's had a full offseason with your team. Now there's obviously kind of a little logjam at that forward and center spot, but like James Wiseman, I think he's gonna get probably starter minutes.
Probably.
He probably will get starter minutes. I think
he should.
He's the X factor because I still believe that there's a lot of talent within James Wiseman. I just don't think he's had enough reps and enough opportunity, especially coming from the Warriors and then coming to the Pistons late last year. But like, I think there's still a lot of untapped like potential there that Detroit could possibly use, and I think that if they can find a way to really have him blossom, even just a little bit, I think it's gonna be huge for them because I think I like Jalen Duren, but I think if you can get James Wiseman to blossom, I think he could be that guy for like at your center spot for like a very long time.
I still got all faith in Marvin Bagley. All faith in Marvin Bagley to start at the 4. So you run Thompson, Ivy, Cade, Wiseman, Bagley. There's your starting 5. You have Isaiah Stewart come off the bench. You have Duren come off the bench. Bogdanovich, if he's even still there, he can come off the bench.
Bagley coming off the bench.
No.
I think their best lineup is Ivy or Cade / Ivy. You're 1 and 2. Then you go. Like.
You have Thompson come off the bench?
Yeah. I think you go Bogdanovich if you want to go Bagley or Stewart at your 4, and then you go Wiseman at your 5. I think that's what they go.
They just ain't gonna win if they do that.
They still have Alec Burks. Underrated dog. Warriors legend.
Alec Burks. Yes. Knicks legend.
Yes. But they do have a deep roster, and I think they have a good mix of veterans too, mixed in there. Because they did just lose Corey Joseph to us. But I think James Wiseman being the X Factor is going to be huge. I want to see him develop and do well. The next team is the Pacers.
Playoffs.
I also have playoffs. X Factor is Bruce Brown for me. I think when you give somebody that large amount of money, I get large for him. Large for him. I think they definitely need to see him. See, they're such a versatile team. They're so deep now. I understand Bruce Brown, but Bruce Brown can really do a lot of things for them because he can really play 1 through 4 for them.
Yeah, he can play wherever they like.
Yes, and I think with the fast-paced offense that they're going to have with Tyrese Halliburton, and I love the Obi Toppin addition, especially because you got him for cheap. I think he's going to fit so much better in the Pacers' kind of scheme and offense and everything else. And then you still got Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, but Bruce Brown, Jalen Smith, Aaron Nesmith from the Boston Celtics.
And then whoever they drafted, that French dude.
They did draft that French dude. He's more of a project.
Who averaged 4 points.
Yeah, he played with Victor Wembanyama.
He averaged 4 points.
He's a project, but I think they have a good mix of guys right now to make a good enough playoff push. I think the East,
the East is tough.
The East is tough because the East is very deep. There's a lot of good rosters deep. The league is really having a lot of parity right now because I definitely see a world where the Pistons, Pacers, and Magic, 3 teams that were really out of the play-in race last year, kind of get back into that mix and everything else. And then you still got teams like the Hawks, Toronto, Miami that were in the play-in last year, and Chicago. The league, especially the Eastern Conference, a lot of these teams' expectations I have is playoffs for them. But Bruce Brown kind of brings it all together because he's so versatile, and I can see a world where he averages 15 to 18. Because I do think he's going to get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think he'll have all the opportunity in the world, especially being on a Pacers team.
Mm-hmm. They're the team where it's everybody eats. Still got Benedict Mathurin. It's feed the hot hand. Next team, Toronto.
God.
Playoffs,
but play-in.
I agree.
Playoffs, but play-in. Your expectations should obviously be playoffs, but I think they're going to be a play-in team, sadly.
I think this Toronto team needs to blow it up. I think they
Oh,
need
yeah.
to start fully building around Scotty Barnes.
I think the X Factor probably is Scotty Barnes.
He is the X Factor
Yeah.
because people say he had a down year last year,
Mhm.
but not everybody is gonna perform good year one. All right, he's damn near all-star in year two.
Mm-hmm.
No, not every rookie that comes out and like has a great rookie year is gonna come out and blossom into an all-star the next. It definitely takes time, and I definitely think that he's more because he's definitely somebody that they look to play 1 through 4, but they even experiment with him at the point guard spot at times last year. But I think Pascal Siakam and OG and Scotty all play too much alike. To where, like, they always say Tatum and Brown, like,
Yeah.
clash because of their play styles. I think those three kind of clash all because they do kind of play the same. But Scotty Barnes being the X Factor because he's kind of the franchise guy now, in my opinion. Because I do think they need to move off Siakam. They need to move off OG. They need to cash in on
OG's
those
been in
pieces.
trade talks for a
Yes.
fat minute now.
They need to cash in on those pieces because those two pieces in
They still got
Pascal's-
Gary Trent and
They extended Gary Trent.
Yeah.
And then they got Yaga Pirtle.
yeah. Who's their backup point guard?
They got Dennis Schroeder now. They do got Dennis Schroeder.
Shit.
W pickup. Dennis Schroeder's probably getting traded at the deadline, though.
Yeah.
I feel like Dennis Schroeder is somebody that always gets traded. But they need to really look to cashing in. I know Siakam's a free agent next year. I just don't want to get that notification like middle of the season they extended him for like 3 years
It's like, shit.
to a bag. Because I want to see Siakam more... Like Siakam on like a different contender, like a Dallas or something like that. Or just
If
any...
it was only that easy.
Yeah, it's not that easy, but I think getting Scotty Barnes to really take that next step in his game is going to be huge for Toronto. But their expectation should be play-in/playoffs.
Mhm.
Next team,
Bulls,
Chicago
yeah.
Bulls.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Playing.
I said playoffs.
I think it's playoffs, but playing. That's
Yeah.
what that is too. Because like from the team aspect, it's always everybody should be making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if you're being real, they're gonna make the play-in and maybe not even the playoffs. This team is bad.
I'm not going to say bad.
They're not gonna be good next season. They have Zach LaVine, and that's about it. I am not high on DeMar DeRozan at all.
DeMar DeRozan getting up there in age.
Yeah, and Lonzo-
I'm not high on Vucevic.
Lonzo said he was gonna come back, but fuck, man.
He's my X Factor.
Lonzo. The X factor is if he plays or not. That's basically what it is.
Yes.
It's Lonzo playing or not.
That's more so what I was getting at. Like,
Mhm.
because when Lonzo was healthy, the Bulls were really good.
Yeah.
Where they had Lonzo Caruso on the backcourt, great defensive unit, Lonzo Ball. This is like the perfect team around him. Then you got Zach LaVine, DeMar, and Boost. You got big that can stretch the
Pat
floor.
Williams still.
Pat Will. They had Pat Bev last year for a stretch, and they were that was just for fucking
That's just cuz.
yeah. But when Lonzo Ball was healthy, this team was really, really good. They did give Kobe White the extension and everything this past summer. They do need. You could say Pat Williams is also an X factor, but I think Lonzo.
I think they
Ball-
need to trade Pat Williams.
You think so?
Pat Williams doesn't do anything. He is what does he do? He's kind of just there. Like he's so lucky he's like on the Bulls, cuz like he might be out of the league here soon.
I think that's more so because of his opportunity and touches. Because I think DeMar having two ball dominant guys in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic too.
Well, he's just
he's the 3-and-D.
he literally got drafted because he's a 3-and-D, and he's been very lackluster on defense, and he doesn't hit a lick of his threes. So, I want to know what he averaged last season, because there's God knows, I want to know if it was double digits or not. What did this do? Look that up right now.
I'm going to look
Patrick Williams averaged last season, because if he probably averaged, if it's anything over 17, that's a fucking lie. There's no way.
Past 3 years, he's averaged 9, 9, and 10.
What is that?
He played all 82 though.
That's bad. And what?
Gave you all 82 games.
9 points? Come on, man. At your starting 4?
All right, so he gave you 41 from 3, 41% from 3.
On how many attempts?
It's not saying for some reason.
Not enough. We'll do that.
It did 46 from the field. Playing 28 minutes a game, played all 82.
Fuck. 9 points, man. Like, I know you probably give him some tough defense. I get it. But damn, he just out there just hooping.
I think
they need something better than that.
I just think they need to blow it up for one.
Yeah,
but
that too.
I think this is just as far as this team has gotten. Obviously, it sucks with the whole Lonzo Ball injury because he's what made the team.
He said
go.
about it. He said he feels like so bad because they tried to build the team like kind of around him, or like get players like around him, and he can't even play.
He just had this beef with kind of Stephen A.
I saw that Stephen A. saying he couldn't get up from the chair.
Then he's talking about his sources and everything else.
And then he's like, he said he's coming back. He said, "We coming back, baby." And I was like, shit.
And then Stephen A. kind of had like
and then he got serious. Stephen A. got serious.
He got serious, but I'm like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
Stephen A. chill. He's not coming at your head or anything else like that, like most players. In my opinion,
you're not healthy.
Like, obviously he's not healthy, Stephen A. Obviously he's not healthy, but I don't know. He's the X factor because when they have a healthy Lonzo Ball on the court, this is a completely different team.
Mm-hmm. Especially with how he's been improving, like basically every season he's played.
Next team, Hornets. I said tank. Blow it up.
Tank and blow it up. Sounds like a good idea.
Tank and blow it up. Finally build around LaMelo, who's the X factor for this team.
Yep.
So you're only going to go as far as you go. You have...
We ain't even got to spend time on
No, you have pieces that teams want.
You got Miles coming back. I mean, Gordon's there. Terry Rozier's there.
I think you still build around Miles.
You got a lot of people that are just there.
Yeah. I think Miles and LaMelo are kind of like your 1 and 2.
You got to ship off Terry
Rozier,
and Gordon and whoever.
I like Mark Williams at your 5. But they have a bunch of, like, guys that they need to really ship off because they're going to lose Kelly Oubre.
You got to, Kelly Oubre's gone. You got to send Gordon Hayward to, like, a contender or something. Like
even Terry Rozier.
Mm-hmm.
But Terry Rozier's making
He's making a lot of money. Yeah. Gordon Hayward's making a lot of money, too. That's the thing. Like, you got a bunch of players on this roster that are just tearing you down in money.
Gordon Hayward's on the last year.
From us?
Yeah. He's on the last year, and then Terry Rozier has, like, 2. He kind of just got... I think he still has, like, 2 or 3 more years left on his. But Terry Rozier is, like... Depending on the team, if you need real shot creation from the guard spot, I would pay Terry Rozier the money. Because, yes, he's a volume shooter and sometimes a shot chucker, but Terry Rozier has playoff experience. He's a veteran guard in the league at this point, and I think he is worth the money. Knicks, next team. I said deep playoff run.
Playoff run.
I think them and the Cavs are kind of in the same run right now.
Yeah, deep playoff. Second round, around that area.
X factor for me is Julius Randle.
Yep, mine as well.
I think he's...
Worst player in the league award winner from Barrel Talk Sports.
He's like... If he stays consistent, I think they'll be fine.
I feel like he just don't be giving a fuck sometimes. Like, he just be going out there and just throwing up shots. Like, these post fades and stuff. Like, he just be chucking them up.
Julius Randle, like, when you watch Julius Randle play, you're like, this guy was all NBA. That's how you look at it sometimes. But... Looking at this next team, I love the Dante DiVincenzo pickup. Got all the Villanova guys there except for Mikal Bridges, and he's just across the bridge. Wouldn't be shocked if you see Mikal Bridges on that team, like in a couple years, whenever his contract's up and everything else. I know he just got extended, but big Jalen Brunson guy over here.
Love Jalen Brunson.
Big Josh Hart guy.
Okay.
Could say RJ Barrett's an X factor, but I think they're getting
It's Maple Mamba.
They're getting just enough from RJ Barrett and the surrounding...
That they should sign him back. Yes. That's the thing.
They're getting... Tell me he's not Harrison Barnes. Tell me he's not in that realm right now.
Right now, yeah. He's like... You kind of like... He just does enough for you to like keep him on the team.
And I'm not saying Harrison Barnes like in the terms of like talent or like averages. I'm saying Harrison Barnes...
like glue... The piece that he plays in the team. Like, I like RJ Barrett. I've always liked RJ Barrett. Mm-hmm. And, like, when RJ Barrett is giving you, like, 18 or more from your 2 spot, like, that's what he does. That's what he needs to do consistently. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to get 25, 24 from Julius and Jalen. And then whoever you're starting at the 3, I guess it doesn't really matter. Maybe Josh Hart or...
Yeah, it'll probably be Josh Hart.
Or maybe even RJ Barrett will play the 3 or something. Mm-hmm. And then you have Mitchell Robinson at your center, and then Hartenstein kind of coming in for him. Like, you're chilling. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's not a scoring threat, obviously, but he's a kind of a lob threat. And when RJ Barrett's a decent playmaker, it's just they have Jalen Brunson. Yeah. So he's not going to have the ball. He's not going to be, like, doing everything. But I think he is He'll definitely get the bag from the Knicks. Like, he'll probably get, like, his player option and shit all picked up, and whenever that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be soon here, right?
Yeah.
Him, Zion, and Ja.
Yeah. I always made the comparison to RJ and Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
Because Andrew Wiggins and RJ Barrett are kind of in the same realm. Like, when Andrew Wiggins was with Minnesota, he was averaging 20, 22 a game.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, they said, is this it? Is this all we're going to get from him? And then goes to another team. Andrew Wiggins on the Warriors completely opens up the game.
Mm-hmm.
Elite two-way player. Consistent from three. He really is the glue guy for the Warriors. Because he can do everything for them. And then RJ Barrett's kind of in that same role where I was like, man, if he got traded, I feel like a kid could really blossom his game. But I'm like, now to the point where, like, with the Knicks roster, he fits perfectly with what
Who
they
are you
do.
really going to end up getting that's going to do more than him? That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Unless it's like you're getting, like, another all-star,
Yeah.
a really a higher-up player.
so you might as well just end up keeping him and trying to keep him on these little play options as long as you can. And then if you do want to bring him back, you can sign him to a little, like, 3-year bag or some 4-year bag, like, which will be a decent amount of money. I mean, Ja's going to get, I don't even want to know how much money Ja's going to
Might
get.
be affected now because of all the stuff.
God, I think they're still going to give it to him. And Zion.
Next team is the Nets. X Factor, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Can he still be what he was
Can
at
he
the
can
end
he
of
be the
last
best
year?
player on the court?
Yeah. At the end of last year, he was averaging like 25 to 27 a game.
Mhm.
Can he be that for an entire season when people know how good he is? Now has a scoring threat. And I think they do have a deep enough team to make the playoffs. Again, I do like Cam Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie. I think they have a good collection of talent. Now, with like all of them being around for like the whole year now, if they can just stay healthy as a group, and Nick Claxton also takes a jump, he's another X factor for them because he is their defense. But Mikal Bridges, if he can be that guy, I still think this team is definitely a threat to make the playoffs with how much talent they have on the roster.
Ben Simmons.
All right, next team.
Is that it?
No, we still got the Wizards, but Ben Simmons is crazy. Ben Simmons is crazy.
No, I'm just saying he's on the team.
No, I know he's
Like,
on the
he's
team.
just there.
Is he gonna play?
He should. He should.
They said he's in an incredible shape.
Ooh, I bet.
Incredible shape.
I bet.
No.
The Wizards.
I said playing. I like this. Hear me out.
Was this when you were convincing us that the Wizards were going to be, like, good earlier? I swear to God, we were talking about someone. It was either someone or something, and we were talking about it, and you were like, oh, no, never mind now. You brought up some team. I think it might have been the Wizards.
Could have been. I like. All right.
X Factor, Denny Avdija.
It's Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Can Jordan Poole be that guy? Which I like this role. You got Tyus Jones, who's was one of the best backup guards in the league. I think he's going to do just fine as a starter. Jordan Poole, Denny Avdija, Kyle Kuzma, Corey Kispert, Daniel Gafford.
Holy fuck.
You still got Johnny Davis on your bench, who is probably going to be in the rotation this year. They have a good enough collection of talent. This team is playing no defense.
This team is bad.
This team is playing no defense. Listen. I already miss Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
I already miss it.
You already miss
I
him.
already miss him.
I miss Marcus.
Like it really sat there when I was like just in bed, like on my phone and watching highlights. I was sitting there, I was like,
Damn.
we really traded Jordan Poole
For nothing.
for Chris Paul, who's 38 years
fuck.
old. I was sitting there, I was like, nah, we really did that.
Yeah.
We gave up our future for Chris Paul.
Fuck it. Win now mode.
Is it though? Like,
Is it though? You be saying some of these names on the Wizards team, and I'm just like, these guys getting you a tough 8 points. Like Corey Kispert, he getting you a tough 8 points.
Corey
threes.
Kispert giving me 12.
That's 2 threes.
He gave me 12. He gave me 3
Not
threes.
consistently.
He giving me 3 threes.
I like Daniel Gafford. Big Daniel Gafford guy. I think he went to Arkansas. Pretty good. Don't fact check me on that. I think he went to Arkansas. He was decent back then. I'm pretty sure he's been with the Wizards since he got drafted. And then Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, not really big on. Backup point guard into a shitty role at a shitty team. Not a shitty role, you're starting point guard, but shitty team.
Yeah.
Kuzmania. Love Kuzma. He need to get out of there.
No,
He need to get out of there.
Got paid. got paid.
I know. He don't care. He said he's getting his money.
Yeah.
He like, we don't want a ring. I don't
He
care.
should.
And then I like Denny Abajita. I've liked him since he got drafted. So I think he needs to be a lot better than what he's doing. That's why I kind of have him as the X
He's getting a
Factor.
bigger role now.
I hope he does like more. Like I want him to see him averaging like 20.
Okay. God, plan seems so crazy.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna only say plan because like I can't say tank because like they have players on the team that can do good.
Organization wants them to tank.
Probably.
But they're gonna win games they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have a Jordan Poole game where he goes out and gets you like 30 or 40, and then you're gonna have a Kuzma game where he has like for some reason 25, 10, and 12.
Randomly.
And then you're gonna have like a great time. Like they have guys that Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma that can get hot, and they're gonna win games they're not supposed to. That could lead them somewhere. You can get to playing as 10 seed. I ain't saying they're gonna be the 8 seed. 10 seed, I could see it.
Fuck.
Because Jordan Poole's done so wrong. I think it's December 22nd. It's start of December. Washington in Golden State. Tune in.
Kuzma going for 30 that game, and Jordan Poole's going for 4. He's 1 for 17 shooting.
They even had him in the 2K trailer with Draymond.
I know. Damn. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it for the expectations. But now, since we've done East and West, we can get into just our top 5 players and teams with the most pressure this season. I can start out with players.
I didn't even try to spend a whole lot of time on this. Like,
These
pressure.
These are more so like it's kind of the same people every year.
Yeah.
But at 5, I would have Kyrie Irving just because he got his long-term kind of extension now, and they need, especially with the current state of Dallas, because Dallas is also number 1 on my teams with the most pressure. Because when you have a talent like Luka Doncic, and like you have to make a deep playoff push at some point. And they didn't even make the playoffs last year with Luka and Kyrie, but they need to make a deep playoff run because Dallas and Kyrie both have a lot of pressure on them, I think. And then the Suns, Boston, Cleveland, I think
all these teams, Boston for sure. Boston's running out of time. We got to get going, man. It's like this year, next year, and maybe one more year, and you're out of there.
The Suns mainly because
they're a super team now. So it's just like when the Nets had their super team, like bunch of pressure, blah blah blah, just get swept by us. Cleveland's
more so because of the lurking like Donovan Mitchell going to New York shit, and like when his contract does come up, will he just go to New York when like if the Cleveland's in a good situation or bad situation? So I feel like they are in a pressure situation to win. Second, I had the Bucks.
Bucks are big, like
not even because of the AC, because their window is closing. I think they don't. Their core around Giannis is older. Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, all getting up there in age. I think that core is still good enough to win right now. But I think if you're looking at this core in like a year or two, when Giannis' extension, like, is he gonna be back? He's already come out and said that if they're not like in a winning position, he would leave.
He's leaving.
And then the players I had. Joel Embiid, because the Sixers in general. Ja Morant, because when he does come back, are we going to get the same Ja Morant who got suspended? It's never been his play, it's the off-court stuff. Are we going to get a very locked-in Ja Morant wanting to prove motherfuckers wrong? 2, Anthony Davis, just because I feel like it's now to the point where like Bron's up there in age to a certain point where like Bron's
see if Anthony Davis can kind of take the reins, do it by himself sometimes.
And then number 1, Zion Williamson.
Yeah. If he fucking plays,
we see the Pelicans pretty much on the doorstep. They have everything they need: the depth, the young talent, the shooting, the spacing. Perfect team around Zion Williamson. It's on him. No, it's definitely on Zion Williamson with the most pressure on him this season in terms of player-wise, in my opinion. Just because Pelicans are on the doorstep to being a top 5 team in the Western Conference and really being a title contender. But other than that, I feel like pretty much wrapped up with teams with the most pressure on them because usually kind of the same players all around.
Yeah.
Usually back-to-back years unless like some crazy stuff happens. Same with teams. But you want to wrap it up there?
Sure.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope to see you in future episodes.
See you later.